Hey guys.
Hello.
So we're back. We never intro our channel, but this is A Couple Goes Abroad. We do videos like walking around New York, tips and tricks about like being in the city, and yeah, we have a fun video in store for this one.
Today we wanted to answer popular questions that New Yorkers get asked. We did a fancy Google search and found the perfect Buzzfeed quiz.
Basically,
or
yeah.
Buzzfeed questions.
Yeah.
So this is questions people have about living in New York that people in New York will think are funny and cute.
Yeah, and we thought it would be kind of perfect, kind of a little departure, something a little more fun than we usually do, but
So as native New Yorkers, we wanted to give you guys our thoughts on these questions, and these were accumulated from Twitter. So we'll leave the link to the article below so you guys can see the questions.
Yeah,
Feel free to answer them if you want.
Yeah, it was released in like July, so we're a little late, but we thought they were kind of funny regardless, so we wanted to...
Yeah, and the questions are relevant to answer at any time.
Cool.
And Chloe, as a native North Carolinian,
Yeah,
she's gonna give
her... She feels just involved, so we're gonna have her join this bit of the video until she wants to jump off. But yeah.
With that said,
start with
first
the
question. Do people in New York just eat untoasted bagels? Why? How?
No, I don't just eat untoasted bagels.
Yeah, I prefer toasted. I have honestly eaten untoasted bagels. Like,
I think most people have. I think the crazy part of this question is that you can get either or in most places. So.
I mean, if I ever order from somewhere, I always get toasted. But sometimes, like for example, at work, some people will bring in a bunch of bagel like leftovers, and I'll eat those untoasted. Like, it's fine. I definitely prefer toasted though. Okay, next one. How do people in New York handle constantly falling in love with strangers on the subway?
Everyday struggle.
Never. I mean, honestly, there's like some good-looking people on the subway that you sometimes see.
In New
but
York
like,
in general, I mean, there's a lot of people who, you know, dress up and make themselves look presentable. So falling in love, I haven't experienced it. Probably the cliche of like
in movies when you like see somebody like get out of a cab or something, you're like, oh my god, that's Mr. Right or Mrs. Right or whatever.
Yeah.
That, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about love at first sight, but
yeah, definitely not the case. But
next question. Okay, this one's a good one. How do people in New York City grocery shop? Y'all be carrying all that shit around on the train? Crying face emoji.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a good question, because usually when you're apartment hunting, you want to see how far away the grocery store is, because then you can figure out, okay, this is like 10 blocks away. Like, either you're gonna have to go a few rounds, or you have to take an Uber back, or you have to take the train back, just depending on how close it is.
In most cases, I mean, even with us, like, we don't have a supermarket right across the street. We have different ones that we go to for different things. Like, there's a supermarket a couple blocks away we get like creamer and stuff from. We have other ones that will get more bulk stuff, and we'll plan accordingly. You might have to walk a bit. Like Vlada mentioned, you could do an Uber, but like walking and commuting, that's kind of the beauty of New York in a way. You could walk around, granted, if you have a bunch of bags. You also see people with like those carts, so you can be that person, which is fine, but definitely helps with like getting long distances. People do their shopping, food shopping, in like sessions. So like, I know my old job was like a few blocks away from a Trader Joe's. We don't have one in our area. So like, you know, if it's in your commute of like, say, getting to the train, you don't have to do all your shopping at once. It might be tedious at some times or some points, but you can definitely pick up a few things throughout the week, and I'm sure that obviously helps with not carrying as much too, so. But
good question. Next one. Do people in New York usually always have cars or use public transportation?
Kind of a mix. I mean, we don't have a car, but
I would say definitely public transportation is more popular. But if you live in Manhattan, like, chances are very slim to none that you have a car, because it's just not feasible. There's limited garage space.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely a mix, I would say too, because like if you have a family and kids, you may need a car. Certain parts of New York are a little less. Chloe's doing her thing, a little less accessible to get around, or it takes a little longer. So if you like, say, live in upstate New York, there's not as much public transportation, say, versus like living in Manhattan. Chloe's performance. I'm gonna put it down. But yeah, it's a mix. Some people have cars, some people don't. It's also fairly expensive and sometimes a little inconvenient with like finding parking. So like in New York, definitely doable, but there's some like hoops you kind of have to like move around to like make it like seamless. But
Okay, do people in New York do anything other than start podcasts and use Twitter 9 hours a day?
or start YouTube channels.
Definitely yes. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the stereotype is everyone nowadays has a podcast.
I mean, we don't, so I mean, not that it matters, but
Well, it's in the works.
yeah, I mean, we talk enough.
So no. Next one. This one I think is one of my favorites. Do people in New York live in fear of Billy Eichner? And if you don't know who Billy Eichner is,
Billy on the Street, I think it's on True TV. I'm not sure though.
yeah, it's on True TV. But we started binging it when at the start of the pandemic.
A little before that, honestly. But
Yeah.
So it's this guy. He's very
highly
flamboyant.
recommend.
Yeah, he's an actor, but he's very. Essentially, the show works where he's around like the Chelsea area, and he runs up to people and asks them like pop culture questions.
Or just any.
But the thing is, he's a tall gentleman. He's very imposing. He has like a lot of energy. Not threatening, but like if you're just walking on your business, the show perfectly captures it. Where like people will be like, "Oh," and he reacts.
He's aggressive too. Sometimes he'll just run up to you, and
Yeah.
it's like, what? People have headphones on, and they're just like, "What? What do you want?" Like,
So what would we do if we ran into him?
no. Do people constantly live in fear?
I mean, I think we would be excited, probably a little starstruck, honestly, but
Yeah, I don't think he does it anymore. I mean, he definitely doesn't do it during the pandemic, but I
Yeah.
think even before then, I think he probably went on a hiatus.
Yeah.
Also, he actually was like one of the main characters on Parks and Recreation, so that's
yeah, he's a legit actor. He's
Yeah.
very talented and
very funny.
he was one of the voices in Lion King too. One of the,
Oh.
yeah, I'm blinking on the. Someone's gonna flame us for not knowing the
Simba?
No.
I never saw Lion King.
But yeah, he's super talented, and if we ran into him, we'd be like, oh my god.
Okay, next question. Where the F do people in New York buy shit? Like y'all corner stores be selling turkeys and hams, or do you Amazon Prime them to your house?
You can kind of find like anything you're looking for the most part.
Within like 10 blocks, 5, I don't know.
Depending where you are, I mean, there are people who definitely like Amazon Prime and have it one day delivered. That definitely makes it feasible for everyone. But like if you're living in New York, you can kind of figure it out. I mean, like when we look for certain things, they might not have it in one store, but they'll have it in the other. Kind of like with food shopping, even like we'll go to different places for different things. So yeah, we figure it out, but I mean, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their own preference. Like, some people do like Freshly or I don't know, a bunch of delivery service.
Yeah.
Some people do like Blue Apron when you like just, get a bunch of ingredients and you can cook the food. I think it's just all up to preference.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, why do people in New York refer to being a journalist as working in media? Are you not aware that there are other forms of media?
Ironically, we work in advertising. So
Yeah, so that's called media.
Yeah,
So,
but
but we're not journalists.
No, but that question's funny because I listen to a lot of podcasts myself and sports related or whatever, but they'll refer to themselves as working in media and in advertising. That's kind of like a themed like category industry as well. So it's interchangeable, but totally agree. It's not just journalism. So.
But we actually work in media.
There you go.
Do people in New York just like never use the restroom when they leave their homes? I have to say, during quarantine, so many bathrooms are closed.
Rightfully
that,
so, yeah. For
that like if you are at a place with a bathroom, just use the bathroom because you will not find one.
Yeah.
At another time. So
we definitely plan our trips. I mean, maybe too much info, but like, just with the limited availability of restrooms outside, and you're planning to go out, like, be strategic if you can. I mean, if you're going to a restaurant, like eating there, like,
use the bathroom for sure because like all the Starbucks bathrooms, McDonald's bathrooms, even the park bathrooms, like a lot of them have closed down. So now it's extra hard to find a bathroom.
Pretty much, yeah.
So use it when you can. Do people in New York really go out as often as they make it seem in movies and TV shows?
Some people do. We don't. I think it just depends on where you are in your life, and financially, it's kind of like a big thing because you can go out and then just spend a bunch of money, and like a lot of people we know will probably do that. Maybe once a week, but like in like TV shows, I think they show it every day, and it's
Yeah, it's not the norm. I mean, I'd say like going out typically is like, for us personally, it's like brunch, and we would do maybe like twice a week. I would say no, maximum is like 3 times. But
and we have like ways to make that more feasible. There's like plenty of apps, Seated, like Pulse. There's like different ones you can use to make it more like economically friendly. But I mean, there are definitely people who do it every day. So you know.
Why do people in New York think it's a flex to ride the subway and not hold on to the poles? Because you want to be cool. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah. I think there's an element of it to be like, I know this route, or I know this line, I know where the curves are, I know where to expect kind of that bump or that stoppage. So maybe it's also just to avoid germs. I mean, stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I don't hold on. Also, like, honestly, if it's going slow, I'm just like, I kind of do it as like a stomach exercise, because I'm like going back. A core workout. Sometimes if it's also crowded, like you don't want to. Now it's not that anymore because of the situation, but like in the mornings or nighttime, it's like rush hour, everyone's leaving from work, and it's so crowded that there's no, like, I'm like, I don't want to like go over you like this, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stand here and just like just do my thing. Do people in New York hang out with friends more than other people, or does TV give the false impression that people in New York hang out with their friends all the time?
I think it's a mix of sort of, I mean, social circles. New York is a very like dense area, depending where you're living. So like it wouldn't be uncommon, especially if you live in like Manhattan, where you have like someone that lives a few blocks up or a few avenues next to you. TV shows always make things look different too. But there is an element of like just kind of maybe if you live in like a certain part of your neighborhood and running into the same people or just making friends. It's a very social area when obviously you're like around people you know and such. Ironically, like most people just give you death stares if you don't like know them or like just look away. But yeah, I guess TV shows always kind of make it look a little different. But
TV shows aren't going to show like the quote unquote real life where it's just somebody sitting and binge watching Netflix for 6 hours straight, because that's not going to be much of a TV show.
We'll pause momentarily for Florida. Okay, back on Papa's lap.
Do people in New York really meet and fall in love at art gallery openings?
Shared interests. Maybe that's a better way to position it. I mean, wherever. Falling in love now. Wherever people go, I mean, like you're just kind of bound to like meet people, especially something like an art gallery. That's like a perfect like date spot or like a first date or like a casual like hangout area. So like, you know, you can fall in love, but I mean, I don't know, that could be said with a lot of places.
I think, exactly. And I think also what Isaac mentioned, which was really interesting, was that
Chloe's interesting.
Chloe's like, we don't go to art galleries.
Yes.
We just go to
on the internet.
Steak galleries. Yes. Let's go
I
there.
know.
But no, I think what Isaac said, what was interesting was that it's a common interest. So I feel like if you see somebody at an art gallery and they're alone, you're alone, you know, you might spark up a conversation and
fall in love.
How do people in New York live without an in-unit dryer washer? Shaking my head. This is why I can't move up there.
It's like,
you get used to it.
For us, like, it's not always feasible, but like a lot of buildings may have like laundry in the building. Obviously, if you have to like go a few blocks away or something,
it kind of sucks though, to be honest.
It gets a little tricky if you have a lot of laundry, but like also like, if you have it in your apartment, that's awesome. But like when we do laundry, we basically wait till the bag's filled up and then just do it all in one bunch. So we're kind of doing it maybe like every
2 weeks?
I was gonna say 2 to 3 weeks. But I mean, that trip walking downstairs and coming back, not as dreadful, but obviously having it in a unit, you know, that's a flex. So
why do people in New York love peacoats?
Because they're fly.
Yeah.
You can wear them with a lot of stuff. I mean, is it just New York or is it like, I mean.
I don't know. It says why do people in New York? I mean, I think that they are really nice and you can wear them for like they look professional.
Yeah,
and
that's key. Yeah.
They also take really good pictures and And
most times they're warm. I mean, you'll have your thin peacoats, but like, I mean, like Vlada mentioned, they're pretty professional. Like, you know, when I had to go to office a few times, like get dressed up for some reason, like throwing on a peacoat on top of what you're wearing definitely makes it more presentable, but it's, you know, it's functional, so.
Do people in New York just hang out in coffee shops and reenact Friends episodes? Because that's what I like to imagine that they do.
Maybe more so than we expect, but not like obviously now with restrictions going on, but we have a few coffee shops in our area that people just kind of post up, and you know, we don't watch Friends too much, but like
I haven't watched an episode ever.
I would imagine it's just like people like meeting
talking
at a coffee
about
shop and being like, hey, what's the plan? Like, so coffee shops definitely have like there's like a
I've definitely like met up with people at different coffee shops just to like meet up and like catch up and stuff like that, but I'm not like, oh yeah, like I'm definitely gonna go to that coffee shop because I saw that Friends episode. Do people in New York have block parties?
Yeah, definitely in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, certain
especially
neighborhoods.
in the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, yes. The answer is yes to that question.
Yeah. Do people in New York City have dogs, or are they more cat people?
Hey. We have Roxy sleeping to the left of us. Our left, yeah.
I think it's up to preference. A lot of apartments in New York don't allow dogs.
Buildings, you mean, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of buildings don't allow dogs. So, and they typically allow cats, or like they don't allow cats, but like also how would they know if you have a cat? Because they're relatively easy to take care of. I don't know what the answer is if a lot more people have cats or dogs.
I'll say in New York, depending, especially if you're like a single person, and like New York is crazy. Like a lot of people get pets as like companions.
Yeah. I do feel like
children. So like really preference at the end of the day, but Vlada mentioned like the building you live in may allow it or not, and you kind of work your way around there. So you definitely see people walking dogs more, so that's like a visual cue, but like so many people may have like 6 or 7 cats, maybe not too many, I don't know, but like that's something you don't just obviously know, so kind of a balance, I would say.
Do people in New York City really run into people they know all the time, or is that just a movie thing?
I mean, if you're in
like the neighborhood that you are like raised in, you're probably gonna run into somebody that you went to school with or whatever. Like sometimes I see those people and I'm like, oh, I know that person, but I won't say hi because like it's been a long time. So
also just like even like where you work,
Yeah.
where you like go out, like you may just recognize people. It's New York's kind of like that place. Like people have their neighborhoods they like to hang out in, like areas of the city. So very possible. I don't know how TV depicts it, but I mean, just people, you know, going around by foot in general, you'll definitely have a likelihood of it happening at least once or twice. So.
With that said, that's all the questions.
Wow, we went through that fast.
Yeah, that was super fun. I actually really like that because I like to read the stereotypes and
Yeah.
how we always reenact Friends and always
A lot
go
of Friends
out.
questions, yeah. I mean, it takes
Gossip
place in
Girl
New York.
Friends, yeah.
So, thank you for watching. I think we had an unexpected guest here, Chloe, but as always, thank you. All the feedback, all the comments, all the new subscribers we've had the past few weeks. It's awesome, and we're definitely diversifying our videos a little bit. So we're hoping you're enjoying them because we love making them like this. So
Yeah, we have so much fun, and if there's any suggestions, we're always happy to do them.
Yeah, we'll be on the
within
lookout
reason,
for more
but-
like BuzzFeed stuff too, because
this was super fun.
Yeah.
Like we really like that. We might find some other random ones that we can try to find outside of New York or whatever the case is.
much, but
with that said,
until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So, Chloe, Vlada, myself, peace. Chloe, you weren't looking. Okay.